Welcome back to my channel once again. In this video I'm going to be teaching how to draft the pattern for this jacket with a notched collar. If you are interested in it, kindly watch till the end. So I'm going to be marking 1 inch down from my brown paper. This line will be a guideline and it will also be where our shoulder starts. So that's going to be the shoulder line. So after marking, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark from my shoulder to bust measurements, which is 10 inches. Next, I'll be marking from my shoulder to waist measurements, which is 16 inches. Then from there, I'll be marking from my waist to hip measurement. With this, I'm using 9 inches for my waist to hip measurement. That is how long I want my blazer. After that, I'm going to be connecting the points together to get a straight line. Next, I'll be working on my neck, which is 1.5 inches for the back neck depth, and then the width is 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches for the neck width, and then 1.5 inches for the neck depth. After that, I'll join the points together with my curve, and then the next thing I'll be marking is my shoulder, which is 14 inches divided by 7 inches. I'll be marking that same 7 inches on my bust line and then connect the points together using my ruler. Note, we are working on the back before the front. Next thing is to drop the shoulder by 1 inch and then connect it to the neck. After connecting to the neck, I'm going to be dividing my armhole measurement into 2, which is 17 inches. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to divide that 17 inches into 2 and then mark it down. I have 8.5 inches over there, and the remaining I have over there is 1.5 inches. So I'm marking it on the other side, then connect the points together to get a straight line. I'll label that part my chest line. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide that line into 2 from the shoulder drop to the 8.5 inches and then come in by half an inch. After that, I'm going to be placing my bust measurement divided by 4 on that line and then on the bust line as well. And then my waist measurement divided by 4, mark it on the waistline, and then my hip measurement divided by 4, mark it on the hip line. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect the points together with my straight ruler. After that, I'm going to be marking my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5. You mark it on the bust, waist, and then hip line and connect the points together to get a straight line, just like I'm doing. After this, I'm going to be inserting in my dart. So my dart is 1 inch. The size of the dart is 1 inch. Mark half inch on both sides, and then from the hip line, come up by 2 inches, and then for the back, we start the dart exactly on the bust line, so you don't have to drop it. So we'll be dropping when we get to the front. Next, divide your shoulder line into 2. So I'm dividing it into 2 right here by folding my tape onto each other this way and then connect it to the bust line. Connect it to the bust line just like I have done. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to draw in my curve, but then for the back I don't need to go in deep. I just needed it for a guideline, so just place it, making it touch all the 3 points. That is the shoulder, the division at the center, and then the bust line. So, and just connect from the bust, making it touch that line. That is what you need for the back. You don't need to go in like I said. So this is what we need for the back. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to place or put in my dart at the waist and then connect it to the bust and then to the hip line. After that, I'm going to be adding my sewing allowance, which is 1.5 inches. Note you can add from 1 inch to about 2 inches, but I think 2 inches is too much. 1.5 is to be on a safer side, but at least 1 inch is okay. So I'm labeling my allowances, that is my darts and then my seam allowance. Next, from that corner, I'm going up by 1 inch and then connect the points together. Note, if you have a curve, use a curve for that part. Don't use a straight ruler. Don't use a straight ruler for that part. I didn't have my curve, so I ended up using my armhole curve to get a better curve at that area. This is optional. You can decide to leave it that way, but I don't want that part to be pointy. That is why I am curving it. After this, I'll go ahead and then cut out. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the front. So from the top of my brown paper, I'm going to be marking 7 inches down. This is 6, but ignore the 6 and make it 7 inches. So I'm marking 7 inches down from that area, the top area down. Then repeat the same 7 inches on the other side. Connect the points together to get a straight line like this. Now from the center front, I'm going to go in by 5 inches. 5 inches. So after marking the 5 inches also, I'm going to be joining the points together to get a straight line. So that is my center front and that is my shoulder line. And I marked 5 inches in from that point and then 7 inches on the upper part. So you can either put the back on it this way, making it at the shoulder and then the center front line, just like this, and copy it or trace it onto the brown paper down there, or you can draft it. So I'm going ahead to draft it instead of tracing so you can get it again. So I'm marking from my shoulder to bust to the waist and then from my waist to hip measurement, just like I did for the back, and then connect the points together with your ruler. So that is my bust, waist and then hip line, and from the bust I measured to the chest line. I had 1.5 inches for the back, so I'm repeating that same thing for the front as well, and then connect the points with my ruler. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on my neckline, and then the neck width is 3.5 like we did for the back, and then the depth is 3.5 for the front. So I'm going to be connecting the points together with my curve just like this, and then from there I'm going to be putting in my shoulder measurement, which is 14 divided by 2, 7 inches on the shoulder line, and repeat that same 7 inches on my chest line. Connect the points together just like I have done. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to put in my bust measurement on the chest line, the bust line, and then my waist measurement divided by 4 on the waistline, and then my hip measurements divided by 4 on the hip line. After that, I'll go ahead and join or connect the points together using my straight ruler, just like this. From there, I'll be putting in or marking my nipple to nipple measurements, which is 7 inches divided by 2, 3.5 inches on the bust, waist, and then the hip line, and then connect the points together. So for the front dart, the size is equally or also 1 inch, so place half inch on both sides. And then for the front, the dart starts 1 inch below the bust line and then ends 2 inches above the hip line. So I'm going to be connecting the points together to get my waist fitting dart. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide my shoulder into 2, just like I did for the back. So after dividing it into 2, I'm going to be connecting it to the bust point. That is where we dropped 1 inch. So that is the bust point. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to come down by 1 inch from the shoulder to get my shoulder slant. And then after that, I'm going to be dividing the remaining into 2, just like I did for the back. So divide it into 2 just like this, and then come in by half an inch. After getting my half an inch, I'm going to be connecting the points together. So let it touch the shoulder drop, the division, and then the bust line, and then connect the points together. So with the front, we need this curve so that it can follow the shape of the armhole. Next thing to do is to put in my dart allowance, which is 1 inch on the waistline. After that, I'll connect the points together, just like we did for the front. We did for the back. So we are doing the same thing we did for the back, but then I'm redrafting so that you get it right. Next thing I'm doing is to go up by 1 inch at the side like we did for the back, and then connect it or blend it into the line. After that, I'm going to be adding 1.5 to my side seam allowance. I did the same thing for the back. So note, if you add 1.5 to the back, you are adding the same thing to the front. And if you add 1 inch to the back, you're adding the same thing to the front. One shouldn't be bigger than the other. So after that, I'll go ahead and redraw my curve just like this. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on my collar or the jacket itself. So I'll be going up by 2 inches from the waistline. That is where I want my breaking to start. So after that, I'll come out by 1 inch and then 1 inch on the hip line as well. So you go up by 2 inches from the waistline, and then you come out by 1 inch. So I'm writing it over there, 2 inches and then 1 inch outside. After that, I'll go ahead and connect the point together so that you see exactly what I meant. So this is what I meant. So that is 1 inch. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect from that point where I want to break, or where I want my button to begin. That is where the breaking starts. So connect from that point to your shoulder line, and then make it pass through the neck, the beginning of the neck. I don't know if I'm making sense, but let it pass through that line, and then it didn't really pass through, or make sure it is touching the line. Make sure it is touching that shoulder line. So you are going to be connecting it straight up like I have done. Straight up like I have done. So it will be in a curvy, or the line won't be straight. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure my back neck. So take your tape measure around the back neck just like this. Whatever you get, you are going to mark it down. So I had about 4 1/4. So from that line, I'm going to be marking my 4 1/4 and then go in by half an inch at that same point. At that same point, mark half an inch over there, and then reconnect it. Reconnect the line to touch that 1/2 inch you marked. So just like this. And then the next thing you're going to be doing is to go in by 4 inches. So you can decide to go in from 3 inches to about 5 or 6 inches, depending on how wide you want it to be. But then you are not making it straight like this. You have to slant your tape measure. So you see, it's slanted to a certain angle. It shouldn't be straight. So slant it just like I have done, and then mark your 4 inches. So after marking the 4 inches, next thing I'm going to be doing is to come out by 2.5 inches from the center front line. So 2.5 inches. So this also depends on how wide she wants it to be. But I'm using 2.5 inches. You can use 3, 4, 5, depending on how wide you want that area to be. So I'm reconnecting the line together because what I did earlier wasn't straight, and then connect it to the breaking point and the same center front line. So just place it on it and then connect the point together just like I have done. Next, I'm going to be dividing that 2.5 inches into 2. 2.5 inches into 2. So after dividing it into 2, I'm going to go up by 1 inch from that area. So you can go in from about 1/2 inch, 1/4 to about 1 inch, depending on the space you want in between your collar. So I am using 1 inch, and then I'll be connecting from that point to touch that division. So 1 inch at that point, and then I'm going to connect the points together. So at this point, I was trying to come down by 1/2 inch to get 1/4 because I think the 1 inch was too big. So I ended up using 1/4, and then I'll be connecting from that point to touch the upper part of my collar. So this is it for my collar. So we are almost done with this pattern. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to reshape my neck. So I don't like how the curve look at that area, so I'm going to reshape it using my curve, and this is exactly how I want it to be. So I'm cancelling out every other part I don't need. So this is my new neck. This is my new neckline for the front. That is exactly where the collar will be sitting. After that, I'll go ahead and cut out. We are actually done with the pattern. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to just cut out. So watch how I am cutting it out so you know exactly what you are supposed to do. So after cutting it out, next thing I'll be doing is to divide it into 2, and then make sure you are taking note of the notch lines so that when you are joining, you know exactly where you are joining. The notch is very important. Make sure you mark it so that you don't make mistakes or confuse yourself. So after that, I'll just go ahead and then cut out the darts for both front and then back, and that will be all for the pattern. I'll be dropping my next video or the sewing videos very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.